back live from Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Area Cup Series, race 7 of the season. Welcome back to SimTV as we make our way on lap 75 of 140. Action has been hot so far. Eric Wineland's got an update down from the pit lane. What you got?
Hey, so Kwame Scott is going to try to make it to the end of the race, as well as Tyler Nichols. He was a lap earlier. I might try it, but Kwame Scott's the only one that I think is on his strategy that can try to get there, guys. But I'm liking what you were talking about earlier. The two-stop strategy might be the play, and if so, James Scioli still holding a 3/4 of a second lead over Jake Matheson. That gap has not changed over the last 15 laps we've watched it. If anything, maybe shrunk by a tenth here and there. So keep your eye on this. Number 7, I'm thinking he is the front runner right now. Plenty of action in the pack, though, guys.
It's working our way down here, looking at Jake Matheson, James Scioli leading the way. This gap has come down a bit, 0.7 of a second. So let's keep our eyes on these guys as well, because this battle for the lead could get interesting before we get to lap 100 or so.
It definitely can get pretty interesting here because these guys have been fighting tooth and nail for majority of this race. Not really exchanging a whole lot of blows, but they've been trying to catch up here and there, and Matheson's been trying his best to make some inroads, but is losing just a little bit of ground at the moment, but very much the target within his sights.
Yeah, 30.9 that last time for Scioli, 31.0 for the 56. We'll see what it is when they're coming across the stripe this time by. But the 7 and 56 once again are the talk of the town, running away with the first 2 spots. Then 5 seconds back, we got the 73 Jake Nichols holding off the 51 of Ricky Springer as we're on board with Matheson trying to work his way back into the lead.
Watching Jake at work here. Looks so comfortable behind the wheel, and it's one thing I love about jumping on board with these drivers is getting a better idea and better perspective of how comfortable they are at work. Some drivers are a lot more expressive. Some just take it very literally, and they just get down and hunker down and attack, and that's what Matheson's doing right now. 0.8 back. Last time by, just a hair off of Scioli. And Jake Nichols 4 seconds back, so a little bit of work left for them to do. A bit of a battle kicking off back here as well behind Ed Scherer Jr. There's Connor Horn, Michael Curhan, and more, and a little bit of a battle back there.
It's still quite a few battles going on in behind. Now everyone's starting to catch up, and I think we're really seeing now everyone that pit at different points. They're starting to catch back up to one another and exchange blows. Connor Horn, you mentioned, trying to get his way on through to Michael Curran as they're fighting tooth and nail, and you got Hearn in behind as well in this fight. A couple lap cars in the mix as well.
Here you see the sign in the back there for Michael Curran in the 24 mentioned. He's been on a hot streak with top 5 finishes here and there, and there's Kyle Heyer with the sign in the back.
Did he know that this was the first night that I would have this? I don't know that he did, but it worked out. Broadcast team's on camera. At least I am for now. We'll use that more as we get throughout the rest of the season, but test driving some new things, all of it backdrop and stuff coming soon as well. So all exciting things as Curhan loses a spot to Ryan Hartz here, who drives around the outside, Finian.
He's going to try to drive around the outside and get himself in a spot. He's currently back 29th a lap down, so he's just trying to work his way through the order. He's got one of the fresh tires out of anyone in his group, and you can see him make work of it as he's now around the 3 of Ryan Hartz, getting close to that wall, but we'll get on through. As he's working his way onto the top of the order, trying to look at some other drivers in some close battles. This is one of the main ones here. Ray Slate, Vincent Cortez a little bit further back. As they're in a side-by-side battle, we saw Ray Slate get very irritated with some of the drivers early on. Vincent Cortez has been jumping up and down the order. He was one of the later guys to pit, so he's got some fresh rubber underneath him.
Got a lot of ground to make up, though, at 13 seconds between himself and the race leader, James Scioli, but steady progress as he passed the 8 of Slate for 14th. And now a little further up the road, it's the 17 of Scherer Jr. holding on to that 5th spot, trying to make it 4th, going on the inside of Springer, and just in front of them is Kwame Scott, one of the last guys to come down pit road, trying to stretch it all the way on the field from here on out.
Yeah, I don't know how much I love that strategy, again, because he has to save so aggressively in the second half of the race, but here comes Scherer around the 51 to the outside, and he will complete that pass and make that look actually pretty easy.
He's going to make it look easy and get that spot back, and up he will go to try to claim another driver by looking at Ricky Springer here, trying to see if he can get that spot back, but also got to keep an eye on his mirror as Connor Horn, Michael Curran, Ryan Hartz and company are coming in a hurry, and also coming into the booth. He's Eric Weiland. Eric, what you got?
You mentioned Ricky Springer. Yeah, you mentioned Ricky Springer. He is hot, Ian. I'm not playing that radio. He is very, what a save there for the 51. He is very upset at lappers. I don't think he's aware that the 99 who just passed him a couple laps ago, who kind of held him up and dumped dirty air all over the front of him, is actually on a different strategy. You get a look in sim there with Ricky Springer in the VR that he's wearing. His girlfriend in the background giving him her support, but Ricky not happy on the radio. Cameron Hearn also had some words about his strategy and not being excited about. Listen in.
Where are you at, like, Cam, in the strategy you're on?
I pitted early. I'm tight.
So the guys that stopped early in the two-stop cycle, like Cameron Hearn and David Weishart, if they took care of their tires, they're set. But Hearn is falling backward right now. He's 10th, and Weishart, I think did he make his second stop? I don't even see him on my timing right now. I'm having a hard time.
Where did Weishart end up? Yeah, he did make his second stop just last lap, so good catch there. Look at Curhan and Horn still side by side. These two were in a battle a couple of laps ago, but they are going to reignite that here in a battle for sixth. Horn on the outside, Curhan on the inside.
Yeah, I don't think this battle's going to end anytime soon here as Connor gets to run off the corner, trying to see if he can just edge ahead and clear the 24 and lead he will. Ryan Hart's now going to take advantage of the situation, put his car up against that outside and try to rip it around. And he will just barely get clear of the 24 Curran. Actually, not quite. Curran's got just about a fender to the inside of that 3.
Position 6 through 9 all up for grabs there with Horn, Hartz, Curran, and Garrett Grant. As there you see Dom DeLeo, lap car, working his way back through with the fresher tires. But for the meantime, Horn's going to hold on to 6th, as it's going to be interesting because Curran and DeLeo are teammates, and see how the 22 gets his way around. Try to go through the middle there, Kyle.
Yeah, it's getting pretty interesting and spicy as they leave turn 4 here. Just keeping my eye on the laps remaining, guys. We're coming up on 50 laps to go, and that will go by in about 25 minutes, so that's going to be fairly quickly. Cameron Hearn's going to peel off. He heads to pit lane in the number 4 car. I'd expect a lot more drivers to be making their final stop basically any time now, Finian.
Yeah, went around 44 laps on his previous stint, so came in just a little bit early here for the final run to the end. He should be good to go. 50-lap stint for him to the end. He's going to have one of the oldest running tires in the field, though, so it's going to be interesting to see how he can manage it, because we've been green all 90 of these first few laps, and they've got 50 to go. Still have a chance of a caution, mind you, and that can change a whole lot of stuff for these guys.
Oh, 100%. It'll just, especially for those that pitted late and are relying on this race to go to go green to the end, where fuel is the only necessity there rather than the tire wear, like Kwame Scott. There's no caution that comes out now. It's not going to help him at all, because he's going to have to stay out to get that track position back and then hope for another yellow, or just fight the bullet coming down pit road. But yellow would change a lot of things here, Kyle.
Yeah, it would. Look at Ryan Hartz. That was very interesting there for a moment. And they managed to sort that out, but that almost got ugly.
Did for a second and managed to sort themselves out, but as we've seen, they've been able to sort themselves out and recover, but at some point I gotta imagine these guys are gonna run out of luck. You're gonna see someone go sideways enough to bring out a yellow. Just quite hasn't happened yet.
They got close there. I'll say. 42 of Horn, but a little right behind him, you got the 5 and the 24 going at it for 8th and 9th on the racetrack. Ryan Hartz with a massive run underneath the 42, going to be side by side for 6th heading into 3.
Yeah, Connor Horn's been ripping the high lane basically the whole time here, or I guess a lane off the bottom, which everything I've heard about this new dynamic track adjustment told me that it seems like that kind of lane off the bottom could sometimes be the fast line. I don't know if Connor is searching there because he feels like that's where he's best, or if he just would like the bottom or the top but can't commit to either. But right now, Connor's holding serve pretty well, but look at the run that he gets on the back straightaway.
I think that middle to out 10 lane is probably going to be one of the better places he can run. It's been working for him. Every time I've seen him up there, it's been the lane that works for him the best. But We got Eric Wyman back with us from pit lane. Eric, what do you got for us?
Reinhardt's just watched really badly in Connor Horn's dirty air. When he wasn't in the dirty air, he sounded pretty happy listening in on the radio.
Ah, you can't pass, dude. It's so tight. Oh, I'm cooking.
The cooking deal was when he actually built that run to the outside and then cut to the inside of the 42. Unfortunately, it's not going to pan out for him. Now he's getting freight trained on the top. Garrett Grant and Michael Curhan is working his way into this battle as well. We're going to go 3 wide.
Oh, is that going to work? Horns in the fence are almost into it. The 3 and the 5 get together and almost tangle. But they manage to escape that, at least the 3 wide portion of it successfully. Now double wide, 2 by 2 into turn 1.
Yeah, really close quarters battle. These guys literally playing with inches. Garrett Grant was just able to get clear of the 42, but they're both on by. Connor Horn back to 9th as he goes back to 8th, trying to work around the 24th Curran, who is trying to not be the one that loses out in the situation. He's continue to fight hard on that bottom lane.
Yeah, great battles here inside the top 10. Guys trying to shuffle their way closer towards that top 5. And speaking of shuffling, the Honda Bell's going to shuffle on the pit road, Eric.
Radio from Connor Horn as you guys were watching him battle there.
There's no grip in the very top out of 4.
No, there's not.
That's not enough. I'm still going to hold up Curran as long as I can.
Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he held up Curhan very long, guys.
No, Curhan's through. The 5 and the 3 are very tight together out of turn 4. But laps are clicking away at a pretty fervent pace here. So when does the intensity ramp up? Again, we had the first 40 laps, did 3 and 4 wide seemingly the entire time. But now you're not going to give. You've been taken all night and maybe given here and there, but the give time is over in these last 40 laps. But you still have to, at least the majority of the field has to make that final pit stop. So your hope is that whenever you pit, you come out ahead of those who were battling here prior to the sequence.
Yeah, the thing is, I just don't think, like, for Kwame Scott, he gave up a lot of time trying to save fuel, and I think it was to the point where it was just too much that he had to give up. Again, time will tell. We'll find out in about 40 laps time if the strategy call was worth it, but honestly, I'm thinking less and less so. I see him there running back in 21st, waiting for everyone to come down to pit lane.
Yeah, the 4th car a lap down, and Shackelford and Jeremy Miller are on the pit road. But at this point, you have to just commit to the strategy. And even if you run out of fuel, then, well, at least you gave it your all in that strategy. But that's the route that he chose, and he's going to have to stick to that if he wants to salvage a good finish, rather than pit and just throw that strategy out the window from the start of the race.
Michael Curhan is really fighting for screen time tonight. He's been side by side more than pretty much anybody else the last 15, 20 laps. Other drivers hitting pit lane and leaving it. Skylar Shackelford is on and off. Jeremy Miller is on and off. And James Scioli has hit pit lane. The race leader is coming on down, Finian.
Coming on down, quite a few drivers coming on down. Not surprised, because it gives them a nice solid 40 lap stint to the end where they can utilize a fresh rubber to their advantage. And again, big question to see, where's the 99 going to come out into relation to all the rest of these drivers? See the 56, Jake Matheson still out of the track. Imagine he's going to be coming pretty soon here in the 56. He will not. He'll continue on. Michael Curran, I heard him on the radio. He's coming down to pit lane.
I'd say Matheson might stretch it a couple more laps here just to try and overcut the 7 or undercut with one of those ways. So trying to get a way around the 7 on the track. And there you see Curran down pit road with that sign and the fantasy football trophy in the background.
He will pull in for his last stop of the night, nails the parking there in the pit lane, back up to what is now cycled to 4th. Connor Horn and Vincent Cortez. Matheson and Nichols continue to lead this race. Sub 40 laps to go. Ricky Springer's on pit lane. Here comes Connor Horn, slowing down. Bit of a lockup there onto pit lane. Blake Hopp is also on pit road. And I think that is it that time around. Just keep an eye on Kwame Scott. He's going to end up in the lead, but for how long is the question?
Really is the true question. How long is it going to be? Because he's effectively running to the end of this race, or he's going to try to make it to the end of the race. I wonder if he's even saving at all.
Cool. There's Bondurant coming down pit road.
Ooh, I just saw, sorry, I just to cut you off there, Hunter. Travis Beckner just had a big moment off turn 2, almost brought out the yellow. It was pretty sideways.
Where is Beckner?
He is currently in 23rd.
Wow.
Yeah, he's not having the best of nights.
No, that's all I'll say. Here's what, well, just caught the tail end of it here. Here's what happened out of 2. On the inside of Garrett Grant, it just got on the apron and had a big slip and slide moment, but was able to gather it back up.
Yeah, also part of the reason he's down that low, he did come to pit lane, so he should be a little bit higher up once this all cycles out.
Speaking of higher up is Eric Weiland on the totem pole. What you got for us?
I'm higher up on the totem pole. I'll take that.
In Discord,
Maybe
at least.
I wasn't the pole sitter for making picks tonight though, and that's a little odd. I've had really good track position the last couple weeks. Travis Beckner just made a pit stop and just turned the fastest lap on the racetrack. If anyone's still out there, so
Interesting. Okay, we just saw him dead sideways out of turn 2. Whoa, Curhan sideways as well.
29.95 was the fastest lap on the racetrack by anyone that last lap. Though, with that pit stop and where he's at right now, he still trails James Scioli by just under 10 seconds. So an uncharacteristic night. I would agree with you guys for the 28 car. Meanwhile, I wanted to follow up. Jake Nichols also coming down pit road this time by. Tyler Nichols did just talk to Solar Flare. Thinks he can make it. So he said he's not going to win the race, obviously. He's not too far from getting passed by James Scioli anyway. But might get some better finishing position for the 41 after the incident through the AstroTurf on the front straightaway. Hoping for good things there because Solar Flare only has 2 cars in the race tonight, and they are trying to keep up in the team championship.
So, Kwame Scott on that one-stop strategy, he is now would cycle to currently be 4th. Yeah. So this strategy hasn't worked out in any capacity as far as winning the race. Could he maybe finish better than his running position prior to the first pit stop? Maybe. But I didn't see that as a winning strategy, and I still don't.
I don't actually think so, Kyle, because before pit stops, I think we documented Kwame was like plus 20 positions. He had worked his way up almost into the top 10. So unfortunately, I think the wrong strategy call tonight.
Yeah, I think so.
I think the best thing for him is probably just to stay out there, try to stay in the lead lap, just hope and pray for caution.
Could happen. Look at this. Travis Beckner, Matthew Bell. This is getting spicy here out of turn 4. All these cars have made their final pit stop of the night. I think Casey Lakatos, Dom DeLeo, Tyler Nichols, Nathan Jump, Vincent Cortez, and obviously Kwame Scott are those that only have one stop on their list so far. And most of those drivers are going to OS one before the end as well. Here's David Weishart, and that's Kwame Scott in the 99.
And around they will go, and it's a big train of cars in behind the 99, so it's a 33 and the 3 that'll get on through. Spencer Burns, Springer, Grant Bell, Beckner all in line as Burns taps the wall a little bit off of turn 4. Here comes Ryan Hart's going to take immediate advantage, go to the inside of Weishart, and so goes Spencer Burns to the inside.
Now Springer will follow suit. He'll go to the inside of Weishart. Grant's going to be in the tough spot coming out of turn 2. Actually going to have enough room to make the move to the inside of 33. And Springer going to look beneath the 06 of Burns in turn 3.
On board with Springer here as we enter the front straightaway. Completely immersed in the VR world.
I was gonna say he looks focused. You can see the little head movement is completely focused on what's ahead of him. Trying to make his way on through, and the driver ahead of him is that 3 Ryan Hart. So I'm sure he's just staring at getting in the zone. A little over 30 laps to go for him to try to see if he can get not only into 6, see if he can maybe break up inside the top 5.
And going to try and do that as coming down pit road, Nathan Jump.
He's going to make his last stop of the night. That will turn the lead back over to James Scioli with 30 laps to go. Jake Matheson is 4.7 back. Now, I think we'll be looking at this later and wondering, how did Jake Matheson end up here? Finishing after the first stop, he was less than a second behind. So the pace over the run and then just not maybe being as efficient onto pit lane as Scioli has lost him quite a bit of ground.
I lost him quite a bit of ground here. Looking at 51 of Ricky Springer working to the inside, trying to attack Ryan Hart, see if he can get that spot. Strike while the iron's hot. Woo, and as the iron is lagging out, as he says, the number 3 of Ryan Hart's going to roll around that outside. The outside lane's been pretty strong and hard to beat, especially once these guys hit single file.
There you see 5th through 10th there, actually, all in one shot. And then right behind these guys, you got Connor Horn running 14th, and Ed Shearer Jr. 15th, all trying to close in on the top 10.
Sherritt Jr., Travis Beckner, and Jake Nichols back here. You documented how did Jake Nichols end up back here in 11th? Trying to figure that out. He's going to gain a few spots on the cycle, but not as many as we would have thought, right?
He stayed out a couple laps. Everyone else ahead of him came in about.
Oh, much fresher tire. You're right. Yep, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I was just trying to figure out where the math ain't mathing.
Yeah, I was going to say the math is yet to work itself out, I guess, if anything. The math is pending. But he's got quite a few cars to get past, though. It's going to be a tough battle for him because the lap's starting to wind down and there's 30 laps to go, and the passing's gotten a little bit tougher. Not a whole lot tougher, but a bit tougher. This is the opening laps.
We're going to open it back up to pit road with Eric Weiland for another update.
Hey, so just to cap off the Jake Nichols discussion.
I almost just saw a wreck.
Oh, man, that was close out of 4 between Hartz and Perhan and a few others there, Eric. But carry on and continue. What you have?
Well, you see Jake's brother, TK, hanging on there with that strategy. He was a forefront centerpiece of that incident there. Ooh, that contact was big. It's lucky it did not spark an incident. So Jake Nichols obviously decided to stay out, or excuse me, pit early. He tried to undercut Jake Matheson. I don't think he got through pit road as well as he probably wanted. The other thing to note, I don't know if you guys documented it, Jake Matheson's stop time was only 10 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
So he's on 2 tires out here in the 56. So he closed the gap a lot. Jake Nichols in the 73 was about 6 to 8 seconds adrift from Scioli for the pit sequence. He's come out now 10 seconds adrift, so he probably wasn't the best through pit road, but still solid nonetheless. Just a different strategy call for that 56. We'll see how this one plays out up there in the Miller Racing car for Jake Matheson.
Yeah, I mean, I always like when you got, fairly long laps, and especially ones that you got quite a bit of banking and things to lean on. I always like this overcut strategy because you've got time to make back, right? There are some tracks that are just not long enough where if you pit late, you run out of laps before the end of the race. This is not one of those places. So Jake, while I was concerned where he popped out earlier, I think he's going to end up netting out positive here in the closing laps of this race. He's still got some work to do, yes, but most of the cars that he's chasing down are literally directly ahead of him, only a couple tenths of a second.
Taking a look a little bit further up the order, there's Michael Curran in hot pursuit of Ryan Hartz in the number 3. And Hartz looks like he might be starting to fall off. He got passed by Ricky Springer, then Garrett Grant. Now Michael Curran is on the attack as well. Jake Nichols sitting right in behind in 7th.
While all that's going on, bouncing like a beach ball back and forth between pit road and the booth is Eric Weiland with another update.
I love the Christmas shirt. And also, fair is fair. Time for the broadcast team to be on camera. We're getting there.
What do you mean?
Getting there. Oh, Kyle's got the setup. Let's go. I didn't even get myself in the Zoom call tonight.
I was going to say, I got all this new stuff, which was I was so stressed out that I was having problems tonight. But just in case anyone is curious, this backdrop is going to be wood, and then we'll have 3D printed logos and some downlights. It's going to be rad. So by January 1, we'll be in good shape.
I got to start finding some dress shirts for these broadcasts. No, I wanted to clean up. Jake Matheson planned 2-tire call for the 56. Did not get the recording of it, but quote, "This thing is a dump truck. I had to do something to make it turn." So the 56, 2-tire call, right sides, planned, trying to make it looser. And he was faster and still is faster than James Scioli right now. He's 0.3 faster that last lap. Now down inside of 3 seconds, 2.7 seconds between the 7 and the 56.
That checks out because, earlier in this race we were talking about how everyone seemed, the car seemed very stable, and stability comes at the expense of understeer and being tight. And so with that, if you can somehow get the car to drive loose, you're going to gain a lot of speed. With that comes some risk as well. But when you do it with tires versus setup, I think that balance feels a lot more natural. And Jake's making really good time right now.
It's only going to get tighter, Kyle. We're at 7:46 in Sin local time here at Charlotte, and the sun is very quickly going away. The lights will flip on here soon, and when they do, it's like the track changes state. It gets even tighter as the track cools off.
Nichols trying to make quick work of Ricky Springer on the inside, 3 wide for a second as they get past Ed Robertson. Woo. Nichols finally clear and up inside the top 3. The math has finally mathed itself out.
Yeah. Just needed to check in with him a couple laps later, that's all.
What did you say? Math is sun out.
Oh, yeah.
Get it?
Time for a
he's
break,
closing
everybody.
in there.
I was going to say his math is also still pending because he's now under 2 seconds. He's really making some fantastic work here. This might be the call that wins in the race here. He's catching at a really quick rate, around 3 to 4/10 of a second every single lap.
You know what's quick, Finian?
What's that?
The shipping you get from Area.
Nice. Good transition. Area.shop. Let's do it. Race fans, fall is here, and before you know it, so will winter. Bundle up this season with shop.areairacing.com and shop from our selections of champion hoodies, jackets, and sweatshirts. Easier to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. That's shop.areairacing.com. 'Tis the season, huh?
This is the season.
I have not done my Christmas shopping yet, guys.
I haven't either. It's a week.
God.
Oh, no. I'm already done mine.
Well, you know, my Corolla's out of commission right now, and I am trapped at my house. That's my excuse.
Well, just take the gift card route.
Yeah. The easy way.
Coming on board, Skylar Shackelford. He's got Douglas Newbegin just up the road. This is a battle for 17th, and conveniently 17 laps to go.
He's actually had a really good race. We haven't really talked a whole lot about that 17 car, but up inside the top 5, legitimately, this is one of the better runs he's had all season long. Skylar Shackelford, not as much as he's dropped back to 18th, potentially 19th. The Cedric Hunter is trying to make way of him and have a fight.
Ooh, wow. Took the line away, the 88 did. Moved up the racetrack in front of Cedric. Cedric's going to try to cross him over here and split the difference with the 41. That's very tight.
Whoa!
Hello.
You no longer go for a gap. Up the inside, he made it work.
Sure did. How about for 4th? Scherer Jr. and Ricky Springer.
Yeah, Shearer's on the climb, actually, because Garrett Grant held that 5th spot, and he lost that to Shearer, and Shearer now trying to take 4th away, and he's just like that, 1 spot shy of knocking on the podium, but not for long. Springer's still giving a fight on the outside. Meanwhile, Grant can only watch from afar 4 car lengths back from this battle. Whoa, they're touched! Oh my goodness, they touched
Easy,
come out
boys.
turn 4. Yeah, getting close to the end of this race. We have yet to see a caution, so any late race yellows would change the dynamic of this finish quite a bit, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, a yellow would totally upset the apple cart here. We've been clean and green this entire race. This is not something I expected tonight to go flag to flag green in Charlotte. And I think tomorrow in the truck race, we might see something very similar. And ditto for Thursday as well. This could be a very green week of racing, and that adjusts your strategy when you come into the night kind of expecting it to go that way versus what we had at Milwaukee a couple of weeks ago. We've had a grand total of 0 cautions the last 2 weeks because last week we couldn't have cautions. So Charlotte bringing the
Doesn't
green.
really count.
Well, doesn't my heart. Garrett Grant all over the back of Ricky Springer. These two have had a couple of call them run-ins tonight.
Yeah, I would say so. Might have another one here before the night's over, as they're going to be battling it side by side, and now you're going to see guys get maybe a little bit more aggressive than they were before, because now is where the positions really start to count, especially if you're like Ricky Springer. You find yourself on the back foot, and he's starting to drop down the orders. He's trying to defend. Going to hit the left rear quarter panel of the 5. They keep their way on straight, but ooh, that got close there for a second.
And speaking of aggressive, the 5 of Garrett Grant just checked. He's 34th in the point standings right now. His best finish of the season came from Dover with a 19th place finish. So he's fighting for all the points that he can, running 34th in the point standings. And speaking of point standings, down near the drivers in the point standings, Eric Weiland, what you got for us?
You could have said I was at the bottom of the point standings, Hunter. That's okay. I'm not having a good season in the Trucks or Xfinity Series. No, I'm watching. You guys see it. The gap has almost entirely evaporated between the front two. Dick Matheson has gotten himself inside of 1 second now to James Scioli, and he's passing in one more lapper here, and then the 7 car is the next one up the road from the 56. I also tuned into David Weishart Racing. I'm not going to play any of the audio back on the broadcast. There were some choice words in there. Obviously upset is David Weishart about the whole dynamic track not working and tire model being broken. It is the summation of what he was upset about. Spencer Burns, though, I don't know if you guys do this when you race. Spencer is listening to some music. He actually has, who did I see he had on? Travis Scott earlier is what Spencer was listening to. He said it's helping him keep him in focus, and rightfully so. He's having one of his best runs of the season here in the Area Cup Series.
Jake Matheson, guys, has run Scioli down. It's 0.3 of a second. Is the two-tire call the key to victory here? He's going to have 8 laps to pass Scioli, so things are about to get spicy here.
Is there to try to get spicy, and what a fantastic time to have that under 10 laps to go for these drivers. It is on. Matheson now trying to do whatever he can. He's got arguably the better tires, because with that strategic call in pit lane to just take 2, to get this car to rotate better, and it's starting to pay off here. He's at least closed the gap, but we always say it almost every single race. Catching is one thing, passing is another.
And the lap times are almost evening out for the front two, as well as there he is holding on to the headrest there in his sim setup, as the gap is between 4 car lengths, now trying to make it to 3 car lengths. 31.1 that time for Scioli, 31.06 for the 56 of Matheson. But we're getting down to the closing stages, Kyle, and just like last week, it's going to be down to the 7 of Scioli and the 56 of Matheson.
Yeah, it came down to some really interesting fights between those two last week. Matheson had the lead for all but a half a lap. Oh, he's really close to the wall out of 4. His advantage still exists, Finian, but it's smaller and smaller every lap, as you'd expect. The tires evening out. But look at him trying the high lane now, changing up the line to try to find some more grip.
I mean, he's got to start experimenting at some point. Question is, will Scioli start experimenting? I mean, I don't even know if he can. I think at this point he probably might just have to keep on the bottom, because I think as soon as he leaves that lane, Matheson's going to be on him.
Yeah, interesting to find different grooves around the racetrack. It's down to 2 car lengths there coming off turn 4. 5 more laps to go from Charlotte. Can Scioli hold off the charging 56 of Matheson with the strategy call of 2 tires to get himself all the way from 5 seconds back for the leader to just 2 car lengths?
And I'll tell you what, that high lane worked for him. He gained another 10th last lap, and he's gaining even more. He's found a line that works. Is Scioli going to try to take it away from him? Now he's going to go to the bottom in 3 and 4. Keep him guessing out front. Never let him guess your next move here. 4 laps to go when lap traffic up the road.
The lap traffic might definitely come into effect. Scioli's been enjoying the cleaner air to kind of keep up his defense with the 56, but now he's got not one, but just 2 cars battling for position ahead of him. That's going to be quite a big wall of dirty air, as they're going to be stuck on the bottom. This could be exactly what Matheson needs here.
Yeah, big run off.
Oh, here comes. Huge run.
David Weishart up the road, and here comes the 56 of Matheson looking for the lead. Heading into turn 3, side by side, but the run on the outside for the 7.
For the top spot, Matheson's tight out of 4. Tags the 7, puts Scioli in the fence. They're banging doors out of turn 4. 3 laps to go from Charlotte.
I think Matheson knows this is his one and only shot. Now that he's side by side, the 33 wides are going to try to get out of the way. They go 3 wide with the lap car. Scioli going to try to gas it up hard on the outside.
Scioli holding on to all he's got. Matheson closing on that quarter panel, trying to keep the side draft going. Inside line advantage for the 56 into turn 3, and he's going to clear the 7 of Scioli, slide up on the racetrack. 7 looking for the crossover, coming off 4, side by side with 2 to go. Scioli looking for that lead.
2 laps to go. Crossover from Scioli. Now Matheson's got the upper hand for the tie side in 1 and 2, but Scioli's got the power position on the bottom right now. He can push the 56 up if he needs, but now look at the run Matheson's going to get. This is going to do it, Finian.
This may do it right here. There he goes, 56 up into the lead. There is still one more lap car just up ahead, and Scioli, I'm sure he's not going to let this go away.
Scioli's going to have one more lap to try and find a way around the 56 as Matheson's off turn 4. No cautions all race long. We're going to get the white flag, and we're going to get a finish here, Kyle.
1 lap to go here from Charlotte. Jake Matheson on a risky 2-tire strategy to change the balance of the race car. Use the outside lane in the closing laps to find an advantage over Scioli, but James is trying to come back. A big run down the back straightaway. The final lap here in the Area Cup Series from Charlotte. Scioli's going to drop to the bottom here. Throw it into turn 3. Use the bumper up the racetrack. Matheson jams the brakes through turns 3 and 4. Here they come, side by side. Checkered flag. Jake Matheson's going to hang on by just over a car length over James Scioli. What a battle between those two, 56 thousandths of a second. How about
that's
that?
What you call a race right there. Good old-fashioned beating and bagging. and great battle over the last 10 laps. Matheson clawing his way to victory. You cannot argue that that was not well earned for that 56.
Wow.
Jake Matheson let one slip away from him last week on the Charlotte Roval. He was not going to let the 7 beat him in back-to-back weeks. He instead made the pass with 2 to go. And the 7 of Scioli, he had the opportunity to send it in there into turn 3 with a Louisiana dive bomb. He could have just beat the bumper off the 56 even more, but only did it just enough to where he could find a room on the inside. But the 56 instead shut the door and was able to hold on for the win.
How about this, guys? The last lap, last corners. Scioli chucked it down in here into 3, hit the 56. Matheson slams the brakes in the middle of 3 and 4. James tried to cross him over. I thought he'd build a run here, but Matheson covered it off well. And that was your margin of victory. That was fantastic. And Matheson did not do burnouts there, but I'll bet you he is worn out.
I was going to say, that's the amazing thing about this finish. We had almost a photo finish after 140 green flag laps continuously here at Charlotte, from green to checkered. No cautions to break up anything to get these guys back. That was all authentic racing. Some fantastic stuff from these guys.
Yeah, certainly. Let's have a look at your race results here. This is just unbelievable. Matheson, Scioli, Nichols, Edward Scherer Jr., Garrett Grant, your top 5. Then it's Hart, Springer, Curhan, Horn, and Vincent Cortez. But the talk of the town is those front runners, how close that battle was there at the end, Finney, and you bring up a great point. Just completely green flag racing, and to end like that is a special treat. You don't get that very much. That was unbelievable.
Really great stuff there as you look at the top 10. And also, one thing I wanted to point out there too is that we haven't had a green flag, completely green race since Nashville at season finale in season 3.
Wow.
Wow.
Have a look at that.
Is that across all series?
At least for the Cup Series. Can't say about
Cup Series, okay.
Yeah. Can't say about Pro and Truck.
It's a very stark contrast from what we had at Phoenix earlier this year.
Yeah, well, we have some audio from the checkered flag moment here from Jake Matheson, and here is that just from a moment ago.
Got it.
Good deal.
Good job.
Hell yeah, Jake.
Good rush, Jake.
Bang, let's
win.
go. Thank you,
That
thank
was a
you.
tough one. Strategy had to win that one.
Kyle, you'll get a chance to talk to Jake Matheson here in a moment. He told me drenched in sweat after that finish.
I figured he didn't do any burnouts. I think that was just, I'm worn out trying to run him down. But it came down to the strategy call there to loosen up the race car. I think that was the most intriguing thing to me, was how creative he got in order to find some sort of advantage. So let's talk with our top 3, and the first of which is going to be Jake Nichols in the number 73, who brings his car home in 3rd place. Jake, tonight, a really good night for you, a top 5 run. Maybe not part of the intense action there on that final lap, but take us through your trailing part of the race there and trying to get back to 3rd, running through the field on fresher tires.
I knew I could try to get there. I just needed to take care of the tires. The first run, I didn't do a great job of saving them. I wanted to save it first, but I kept getting just held up or getting shoved to the top or put 3 wide. So at some point I just said I gave up on that and just went for it and tried to get to 2nd as quick as possible to just get track position. And I mean, it worked at the end of the day. A podium's nothing to complain about. We were at a big disadvantage with the team scenario this week, with Seth not being here and being denied a sub opportunity, which it happens. It's disappointing. But I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. But we'll look forward to next few weeks. Just try to get to the playoffs pretty much and stay in distance of Miller Racing in the battle. And if we can't get them, they have a strong lineup, then we'll do our best to hold on for 2nd place in the team points. But either way, a good night for the 73 overall. We'll take it. Those 2 ran a great pace up there, so they deserved it either way. And it looked like they had a decent battle for a second. I couldn't tell. They're like ants to me, but either way, it was a good night for us.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch, Jake. You should go back and watch that finish. It was a lot of fun. P3 for the 73 Solar Flare Racing Chevy. We'll see you next time, Jake. Enjoy your couple of weeks of relaxing.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you guys.
Yeah. We'll see you after the holidays, Jake. Thanks so much.
See you.
And James Scioli brings it home in 2nd place in the number 7, and I know that's got to be a disappointing result because you led so many laps tonight, but how about that battle there at the end? That was fun to watch. James, I know you wish it would have been the other way, but stoked or hoping you could do that again?
It was a good run. There's not too much to be mad about. JMath, I guess, took 2 there on that last run, so just kind of gambled. It paid off and worked. I think that on 4 on the long run, I was kind of untouchable. So just a smart call by him to make a move like that and see if it would have paid off, and it did. He came with a huge run. I kind of got behind a couple lap cars there and just couldn't break the bubble. I had been in clean air most of the race, and then they were going pretty much the same speed I was, so it was just tough to get in, run my line. He threw a pretty good slider. I probably should have tried to drive it in a little bit harder, but I was figuring that I might be able to get him on the crossover and couldn't clear him, and then had a killer run down the backstretch, just kind of ran the middle and just figured that I'd go for a little bit of a bump and run. Didn't want to wreck him or anything, just wanted to move him up out of the groove and see if we could race back to the line, which is exactly what we did. So it was clean all around. Definitely hurts to lead that many laps and get beat like that, but I would have never even thought to take 2, so not much I can do there.
Yeah, all fair play around. Tell me about the surface changes. I know there was a oval refresh part 1. It seemed to me, just watching those last couple laps, that it's done something. Not exactly sure what. What could you feel from behind the wheel?
I don't know. It didn't feel too much different for me, but I also wasn't back in the traffic, so I couldn't really tell. Charlotte's always been, you can kind of get the outside working a little bit if you cut down on exit, so I couldn't tell if that was just a product of the update or what. But it was also tough to tell because this setup we were shifting, so just kind of an odd setup, really tight and shifting. So I think that we'll get a better tell tomorrow and Thursday of how the update really is. But some promising highlights there, being able to run the top like I did in 1 and 2 on the last lap and try and make a run. So maybe we got a little bit of something to work with.
Good stuff, James. Congratulations. A solid run there. Second place just by 56 thousandths. Enjoy the holidays, and we'll see you after for round 8.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Want to give a huge shout out to Lucky Ducks Motorsports. Think we gained some points, so it's been a tight points battle at the front, so hopefully we can keep the momentum going. Huge shout out to Simrap Market, No Kid Hungry, and Roasted Gems Coffee for being on the car, and hopefully we're talking to you guys one spot better tomorrow.
All right, James. We'll see you tomorrow. Congrats.
Thanks, guys.
And Jake Matheson brings it home in victory lane. Holy cow. That was so much fun to watch. I think for us, we had a lot of fun watching you, but take us through those last couple of laps between you and James. The 2-tire strategy call to loosen up the car and gain some turn definitely helped you out, but also those surface changes the surface changes iRacing has made, you think that also might have contributed for your ability to use a different line to get around them?
I feel like the 2-tire strategy being an absolute Hail Mary call. I mean, just me and my team owner were just talking it over. We're just like, all right, we're just going to try it, see what happens. And it freed the car up and never lost any speed, so that was fun. Definitely able to use more of 1 and 2. I feel like 3 and 4, you were kind of locked down still on the bottom. But 1 and 2, you were able to go middle or top when the guy in front of you was on the bottom, and it gripped up, so it definitely helps. It's always fun racing here at Charlotte. It's always been pretty multi-grooved for what we've had, so real fun night tonight.
Yeah, and take me back to that last lap battle there, because we watched Skyly go off into turn 3, determined to get to the rear bumper. He did, got into you a little bit, and then we saw that your car slow up just a bit. That's got to be such a challenging thing to do without turning yourself off his front bumper. Take me through that last 15 seconds and what you had to do to keep that lead.
Well, me and James were talking about it up in the staging, and the cars are so tight, if you hit someone on the left rear or square, it's just going to push him straight. So all I had to do was really drag the brake, and it kind of nullified what he did. But he was trying what he had to do to win the race. I was doing what I had to do to win the race. It's going to be a little contact, but we still got 1-2. Always fun racing with him, especially last week. So the respect continues, and hopefully it produces more fun races.
Well, it was so much fun to watch, Jay. Congratulations. Green flag from flag to flag, and a checkers there at the end by 56,000. Thanks so much for talking to us. Enjoy the holidays, and we'll see you on the other side.
Yeah, thank you. Just real quick, I want to thank Calusa Pines, Celsius, Area Shop, Alien Gear, Huckett Films, and Miller Racing for all they do. And keep giving me these fast race cars, and we'll keep going good.
All right, Jake. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time. Enjoy the holidays.
See you guys.
All right, guys. Wow. That was an awesome way to finish off the night here. Certainly a race to remember as far as the tail end of the race went, but we saw a lot happen throughout the race, a lot of comers and goers and a lot of interesting things. Do we learn anything brand about this new surface, Finian, or is it just the drivers tonight and the track that led to us getting the result that we did?
I think, if anything, I think it's definitely a combination of all these factors. You need to have some great drivers that are able to duke it out, some cars that they're able to work with, a track that's able to, produce this kind of racing. But I definitely think, if anything, the Reaver is definitely helping. We saw a bunch of guys trying different lines all night long, and while the passing was maybe a bit tough at times, it definitely wasn't impossible. We saw guys able to change things up to make it work. So definitely some great action from these guys all night long. One of the best races I've seen here in the area, honestly.
Yeah, from start to finish. I mean, we went 4 wide and somehow didn't wreck after that. And Finian, you said it there. If they didn't wreck going 4 wide, I don't think they'll wreck at all. And they were close, but that was the closest and scariest part of the race, sending it 4 wide into turn 3 in the early stages. And they made it work. And just like that, they were able to go under 40 laps, green to checkered. And we had a great finish there at the very end. Again, with the 7-56, 2 straight weeks where they duke it out for the win, Eric.
Yeah, I was prepared with the headline. I had the December Dominance by James Scioli ready to go. But that's got to be the strategy call of the season across all the area series. What a call by Jake Matheson and Miller Racing to take 2 tires, get that car to turn. To touch on Kyle's point, maybe we see, a little more wider racing grooves, but I think tonight helps cement that there are still some issues that they need and will be working on the oval side of things here on iRacing. That tire model is probably high up on a lot of people's lists. I know it's high up on David Weishart's list, who struggled tonight, Kyle, but we get to see 2 different series go at it here on the oval yet this week. I'm excited for tomorrow.
Area Truck Series tomorrow night, right back here at Charlotte. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow on Sim TV.